When people today see 7 deadly sins, they instantly think 7 deadly frames, 7 deadly predators. But when I see 7 deadly sins, I see potential, I see nostalgia, I see a show that helped kickstart my early anime career. So to see it getting slandered, spat on, and kicked to the side for honestly understandable reasons, it just hurts my soul.
Russell Westbrook. That man's name is Westbrook.
Believe it or not, a few years ago in the not so distant past, there was once a time where if you asked someone what their top 10 animes were, it would not be surprising to hear the mention of 7 deadly sins. But now when you ask someone what the worst anime they've ever seen is, it is not uncommon to hear people bring up 7 deadly sins, alongside Rent a Girlfriend of course. Jokes aside, I know 7 deadly sins was amongst some of your guys' first anime too, and to see it get slaughtered the way it did after those extremely entertaining first 2 seasons hurt me so bad. I still remember where I was when it happened, man. Like, me and my homies agreed to watch the first episode of the new season together, so we stayed in a computer room during lunch just to experience the worst animation imaginable. Anyways, today is kind of an appreciation video for the first season of 7 Deadly Sins to hopefully remind people of how peak this show truly could have been. So let's cut the yapping and get straight into the meat and potatoes. It starts with our main character Meliodas and his talking pig called Hawk working in a bar when this brown-shirt NPC talks about the stories of the 7 Deadly Sins, who 10 years ago destroyed the Holy Knights who have never been caught. Long story short, they basically got done like Senshiig in their wanted posters because they are not even remotely accurate. They mention that there has been a person wandering around the area in a rusty armor, and just as they finished their conversation, the rusty armor walked through the door like Alphonse Elric. Meliodas isn't really phased though when a person falls over as it's revealed it's a woman. And listen, I know there was nothing but gooners in the studio because there was absolutely zero reason for Meliodas to be squeezing her biddies like this. Talking about some, yeah, I was just trying to confirm she's a girl. Alright bro, alright. Why are so many yellowhead anime characters such gooned out freaks? She wakes up and she's way too unfazed for my liking. She doesn't know where she is when Meliodas explains what happened. She just accepts it before fawning all over Hawk. Not gonna lie, she's a certified airhead. Meliodas feeds her when she explains that she's on a quest to find the 7 deadly sins. I should probably mention that no one knows that Meliodas is a 7 deadly sin, and people actually think the girl is part of the 7 deadly sins. That's when the Holy Knights pull up to the tavern trying to arrest her. You can think of the Holy Knights like the government's police force in a sense. It's kinda like the One Piece world government. Meliodas comes out trying to cover for the girl when she runs out the back and hits their jets. Huss, huss, huss. Yo, I don't know why this made me laugh as much as it did. She was out there hauling ass like Panda in that one opening. Hawk hawks them down and begins buddying the Holy Knights like that one Wii play game from back in the day. If you know, you know. She tells Meliodas that she wants to find the real 7 deadly sins to help her take down the Holy Knights because they are planning to prepare for war. As they continue their talk, this guy slices the mountain the same way Zoro did when he first got Enma and declares that he has killed the targets. In straight execute on site order, the bronze cards tell him he's going too far and he says that he will boom them if they keep talking. I'm guessing he's some type of like higher ranking corrupt officer. Meliodas once again saved Elizabeth when Twiggle spots the earrings and says that's an emblem of the royal family and that she's Princess Elizabeth. Meliodas tells her to run and this man unsheathes his sword, sending out an actual Gatsuga Tencho, leveling the entire forest. Elizabeth realizes they are fried and tries to surrender, but he ain't trying to take her back alive and throws out another dismantle. He starts walking towards them like that one guy from JJK. Elizabeth starts crying about how she thought she finally found someone genuine to help her on her journey when Meliodas reveals that he's Meliodas from the 7 deadly sins. Sir Twiggle spawns in behind them and goes for a down heavy, but Meliodas lands the nastiest Sekiro perfect parry. This is what Valverde should have done during his fight to Shuameni. Sir Twiggle spots the symbol on Meliodas' arm and realizes he's done angered a real demon. He goes for the same down heavy and Meliodas once again Uno reverses all of the damage, sending this man flying into orbit like Team Rocket. Nah, this guy is too tough bro, come on man, tell me this doesn't get you hyped. Younger me was shouting full counter at any possible opportunity, easily one of my favorite anime abilities. Meliodas says he's happy to take in Elizabeth and help her find the rest of the sins, since he's actually looking for them himself. As they take off to the next town on their giant pig who's also the mother of Hawk. Meliodas gives her new uniform and I believe it's become evident that we are never going to beat the Gooner allegations. This is the type of outfits Guang be putting in Marvel Rivals? A matter of fact, this is the type of outfits Oda be giving to any female character in One Piece. They go into the town square and we see that a holy knight put his sword into the ground to cut off all the water from the village using his mana. The villagers don't have the strength to pull it out. When this one kid says that he's friends with the 7 deadly sins and they could easily pull it out. Turns out he said something similar to the holy knights, and out of spite, bro decided to commit a war crime on a small village. Fair enough, I guess. The kid says he doesn't actually know the 7 deadly sins, but he figured that if the 7 deadly sins are wanted by the holy knights and the holy knights are doing a whole bunch of evil things, then clearly the 7 deadly sins are in reality the good guys. Yo, this kid really already has better political and ethical comprehension skills than the average person. Some more NPCs pull up to the village and tell the people that they are going to increase the tax 20 times if they don't pull the sword out by sundown. Mead continues to keep trying to pull it out, which moves the other villagers to work together to pull out the sword, but it's not moving a single millimeter. I thought like, it budged like a little bit, like when Cap lifted Thor's hammer in Age of Ultron? I don't know. After their attempt, Meliodas pulls up and without even the slightest bit of effort, just pulls out the sword like King Arthur and returns the water to the village. W philanthropy. The NPCs return the sword to the Holy Knight Gelfunder and tell them a 5'2" man-child pulled it out with one arm. He begins walking to the window and asks for the exact coordinates of the village, down to the last square meter. He takes a spear, infuses it with lightning chakra, and proceeds to toss it at Mach 10 speed through the sky. At first I was confused why he did that, but we cut over to Meliodas whose spidey senses is already tingling, so he dips out the tavern, checks up on his little fine shit, looks around the sky and genuinely catches the spear that ends up sending him through an entire town. Oh my goodness, this is the type of stuff Dragon Ball characters start doing when they find out they are stronger than you. I thought the aura farming was complete, but nah. He does a 360 and returns the spear to send it with the same energy, damn near toppling the entire base. I thought Gelfunder got throat checked, but as the smoke clears, it pans to him still seated with nothing but a scratch on him. Wow, they just successfully went aura for aura. When I first saw this, I thought we just witnessed a Freezer type threat. I sure hope he doesn't drastically fall off and lose complete relevance later in the story, We end up getting some background lore on Gelfunder, and his dad was left looking like Doner Kebab, presumably by the 7 deadly sins, so that's why he wants revenge on them. Meliodas, Elizabeth and Hawk end up walking through the haunted towers in an attempt to find another member of the 7 deadly sins. They end up getting trapped in a Genjutsu where the spirit of the forest begins mimicking them in an attempt to scare them away. Meliodas makes quick work of them when they run into a giant girl sleeping in the forest. The spirits wake her up as we find out that this is actually Diane, the sin of envy. I can see where Oda got his Elbaf character designs from. Being the sin of envy and also being in love with Meliodas, you can see how she reacts to seeing him traveling with Elizabeth. Anyhow, whilst they are planning the next course of action, they get restricted by lightning as Gelfunder pulls up to the battlefield talking spicy. Who is he feeling like, the god of thunder? They talk when we find out that both Elizabeth and Meliodas actually knew Gelfunder from back in the day. The 7 deadly sins used to actually work for the Holy Knights and weren't the ones who killed the Grand Master. It seems like they got framed, but because Meliodas lost part of his memory, he doesn't know exactly what happened afterwards. Gelfunder says he doesn't care and he still wants to kill him.
I am now more powerful than any of the 7 deadly sins.
Not gonna lie, this is the equivalent to when Kiba said he was trying to be Hokage. Diana and Meliodas free themselves as they get ready to squabble. Gelfunder goes for a thunderous down heavy, but Meliodas parries it with 0 difficulty. Gelfunder actually managed to evade it and goes for a side air, but Meliodas is Weave Nation certified and dodges all AoE damage. Gelfunder closes the distance as they start going blow for blow, flash stepping through the air like Bleach characters. He keeps up the full court pressure and it seems like he actually managed to land a clean hit on Meliodas. He gets up though, but Gelfunder doesn't let his stamina bar regenerate and slashes him in the back drawing first blood. I owe you an apology. I wasn't really familiar with your game. Never mind. Turns out Meliodas let Gelfunder strike him so he could learn where the rest of the sins were hidden. Gelfunder goes for another quick attack, but he's hitting nothing but air. This is how people felt trying to fight against Aang. Diane ends up grabbing him and tosses a bro like 7 kilometers away. He ends up landing in a church where people are praying, completely leveling the building. My world government comparison from earlier not even starting to sound that crazy because these holy knights are genuinely evil, walking away like he didn't just kill Gramps over here. It reminds me of when Sukuna decided to eat some popcorn in the middle middle of Shibuya. The party decides to go to Bastei prison because apparently that's where Bon is held. Elizabeth is worried about the captain's wounds, but Meliodas tries doing the nonchalant gimmick by pretending everything is fine just to get quote uncritical in his room. They take him to a doctor and we see the backstory of how him and Diane met. She was getting harassed by some humans and they were being racist towards her because she was a giant. Meliodas came in and saved her and didn't look at her differently than anyone else, which made her fall in love with him. As that was happening, a swarm of poisonous insects came through and started pouring legitimate acid rain on an entire town of people just at the slim chance of taking out one of the 7 deadly sins. These holy knights are committing so many war crimes, it's actually diabolical. They basically bombed an entire city full of civilians just to not even take out the intended target. Sounds familiar if you ask me. They are part of the holy knight group called the Weird Fangs, and I'm not gonna lie, these guys have less aura than the shadow beast from Hunter x Hunter. Diane locks in and starts earthbending like Toph Beifong, taking out all the bugs in one swoop. She goes to attack one of the fangs when we cut back to Meliodas and the doctor, who revealed that he used a poison to kill Meliodas under the orders of the holy knight. Nah, these guys fight so Mickey Mouse. What happened to putting up their hands and squabbling fair and square? We switch over to the prison when we see this man who's being restrained as if he's Tai Lung himself. They haven't let him see the sun for 5 years, they haven't allowed him to speak to anyone, and they got him impaled in all his limbs. All this for the sin of greed, Bon. The guards outside the door are talking about how Meliodas is going to fight against the Weird Fangs, which Bong ends up overhearing, so he says bet and decides to break out as if he was never restrained to begin with. This is like when Superman broke free from his handcuffs mid-interrogation. The purple-haired girl named Jericho steps up and goes for a link flurry rush on Bon, just for bro to use it to cut his beard. And not only that, all his previous injuries are completely healed, as it's revealed that Bon has the ability to regenerate from any amount of physical damage done to his body. Well, all except for one, as we get a flashback to Bon attempting to rage bait Meliodas, just for bro to get a cut that he couldn't recover from. Back in the doctor's office, the holy knight Galdius attempts to disarm Meliodas, but he wakes up without letting go of his broken sword and just mean mugs bro into hitting the jets. Real life skedaddled out of there with maximum efficiency. He might be top 5 highest IQ side characters of all time. Meliodas catches back up with him, but this guy has the power of invisibility and uses it to slam out the doctor before attempting to catch Meliodas lacking too. He diffs him before he rushes back to Bastei prison. Elizabeth goes back to the doctor and he explains that they kidnapped his daughter to force him to do their dirty work. The holy knights are truly evil. Like, I've said it before and I'll say it again. These guys are bogus. Meliodas agrees to get his daughter back when they run into Diane again. She seems disorientated as it's revealed that she has been put under a genjutsu by one of the fangs, which makes her believe Meliodas is one of the bad guys. She's hawking him down when he decides to fight back, but runs into the fang that cast the spell, or so I thought, because it turns out that Meliodas also got caught in the genjutsu and now they are tricked into fighting each other. This is probably how Kurenai thought she was gonna move against Itachi. I mean, hypnosis aside, they are low-key banging out. This is elite squabbles. Turns out that the little boy Elizabeth was trying to protect was actually the one casting the infinite Tsukiyome. Despite that, she still tries to fight back and actually manages to snatch the bell that's been causing the hypnosis. W clutch. Meliodas aura forms like Jinwoo, stopping the holy knight right before he lands a fatality on Elizabeth. He tries to attack him, thinking he won, but Meliodas sends him all the way to the prison and hits him with a Deontay Wilder uppercut. Bro's still talking spicy, but Meliodas is throwing straight bombs. Liver shot so vicious he started bleeding out of his armor. Bon ended up stripping that Jericho girl and taking all her armor for honestly no reason. It didn't even fit him. He really just did this for the love of the game. I sure hope this doesn't turn around and cause it to develop feelings for him. Anyways, Meliodas enters the prison as they officially reunite for the first time in 10 years. So what do you think they do? A dap up? A hug? Maybe even one of those remember when conversations you have after reuniting with an old friend? None of the above. They partake in tomfoolery and ignorance, like actual Neanderthals just hooting and hollering. But it does show us how strong the sins truly are. After Elizabeth recovers, they have their One Piece end of arc banquet together, and I think this was when the group really started to grow on me. These moments are honestly some of my favorite across many series. The calm after the storm. We end up seeing Bon's backstory where he's climbing this tree trying to find the elixir of life that grants someone immortality. This is really what Gabimaru and them are risking their lives for. This fairy is guarding it and hits bro with an almighty push, sending him out of bounds. He continues to climb up as she keeps pushing him over and over again. This is how it feels going for a stranger against Invisible Woman in Marvel Rivals. Now, before we continue, I want to preface that on numerous occasions, Bon refers to Elaine as a little girl.
What's up, little girl? Are you lost or something? Still can't believe a little thing like you is the guardian of this secret treasure. How about you, kid?
Oh no, I'm not a child. Oh no, I'm not a child.
Anyways, he climbs back up and uses Playful Cloud to snatch the elixir, but she stops him and tells him that if the Fountain of Youth disappears, the forest will wither and die. And surprisingly, Bon agrees and said that he ain't even interested in eternal life like that. He just wanted to drink it because he thought that if he lived long enough, he may actually experience something good for once. We switch back over to the gang and they decide to head over to the necropolis to look for King and the Sin of Sloth. After pulling up, Bon begins scavenging for food, and just look at this reaction.
Elaine?
You're probably confused why I keep showing you guys these reactions, but it will all make sense eventually. Whilst he's looking after the girl, he gets hit with a Rengoku Deluxe by this mob psycho character. He claims to know who he is, but Bon has no idea who bro is. The kid proceeds to say that Bon is the person who murdered the fairy of the elixir of life. As they start squabbling, Bon dodges the first thrust, so the kid starts shadowboxing, controlling his spear with his psychic powers. He Sonic squares all the hits before actually locking in, but just as he's about to get serious, Meliodas steps in, stopping him. Diane also pulls up and instantly recognizes the kid as King, the Sin of Pride. And not gonna lie, I don't even blame Bon for not realizing it was him. This man had the most insane glow up. He must have been on his looks maxing journey. After getting recognized, he just flies away. This is really how some people switch up on their day ones after getting the slightest hint of motion. Well, in actuality, it turns out bro has a crush on Diane and he got shy, so he tried using the nonchalant method. After cooking up a 5-star meal, Bon asks the kids about the necropolis place, when he explains it's a place where you can find the spirits of the people who have died. You need to have a strong connection to open a pathway, so they try to find the entrance when they get transported into some type of prison realm. We end up seeing Mandy from Totally Spies, who follow them in the hopes of killing the 7 deadly sins. Bon spots Elaine and chases after her when King chases after him. He reveals that after the sins got cast away from the kingdom, he went to his hometown just to see that it was completely withered, which meant that the guardian of the forest had died. That's when he revealed that Elaine was his sister. He added 1 + 1 and came to the conclusion that since Bon was immortal, it must have meant that he was the one who killed Elaine and drank the elixir of immortality, which is honestly a pretty, valid logical assumption. He uses one of his staff's abilities to turn Bon into stone. When we see the actual backstory, Elaine seemed to have fallen in love with Bon, as the time they spent together has caused their relationship to grow closer. Got her out here blushing and shit. Bon offers to leave the forest with her, but she says she can't because she needs to protect the Fountain of Youth. That's when Bon says he will look for her brother and bring him back to take over her duties. And that's so cute and all, but the anime writers gotta stop with these extremely underage looking females and then justifying it by having them be a gazillion years old. Like, remember the clip I showed you guys earlier? If you're mistaking an actual random toddler for your girlfriend, then I don't know what to tell you. Gideon, come get this nigga, bro. We putting him in a cell together with Sanji and the other gooned out freaks. Whilst he's chilling with his shorty, they get attacked by an actual soldier of Shaitan. Bon tells Elaine to run away so he can fight the demon alone. The demon charges up this Godzilla attack, but Bon counters and snatches his heart like Killua in that one scene. That's when Elaine says that demons have multiple hearts, but it's too late as the demon lands a piercing attack, leaving both of them uncritical. Elaine tries to get Bon to drink the elixir of life, but he tells her to drink it, so she does and kisses him, force feeding Bon the elixir like a bird feeding its young. Bon gets his Zenkai boost and buddies the demon, but sadly Tinkerbell drew her last breath. Truly unfortunate. We cut back over to the necropolis when the Holy Knights manage to catch up to Meliodas and the gang. She pulls out her rapier. Yeah, I know you've seen that. That's elite sword knowledge. And instantly booms both Meliodas and Diane. They try to jump her, but she blocks both their attacks before going in with her explosive sword, which Meliodas easily full counters. King has fully turned Bon to stone, but when he flies away, Elaine's spirit awakens and kisses Bon, setting him free. All jokes aside, it's clear that they loved each other deeply because all King can see is like tiny bits of Magoi, whilst Bon is able to see her entire physical form, meaning their relationship is significantly stronger. Turns out King abandoned his duty and forced Elaine to watch over the forest for 700 years? Damn, I'd be mad too. She vouches for Bon, telling King he's a good guy. Bon joins the battle against the wannabe Rexplode and tries to steal her weapon. She booms him and continues to light up the battlefield, moving like a more competent version of Megumin. She seems to be winning, but if I'm being honest, the 7 deadly sins barely look like they are even trying. After talking to his sister, King decides to help the sins and fights Reze's cousin 101. He instantly speed blitzes notices her during First Blood before applying that full court pressure with his psychic staff. And just look at them hand movements. This is probably how magic builds feel fighting bosses in Elden Ring. She rains down a bunch of bombs like Katsuki Bakugo, so King turns into Gilgamesh from Fate Stay Night and matches every single one of them with little to no difficulty. Hey King, I owe you an apology. I really wasn't familiar with your game. She tries sneaking King as a last ditch effort, but Meliodas third parties the fight and full counters, sending her back to the lobby. Sensational. After clearing the fight, they have the usual post-game shenanigans when King asks why they didn't take out that Holy Knight themselves, since they easily could have if they used their sacred treasures. That's when Diane says she lost hers, Meliodas says he sold his, and Bond says his got stolen. This is the equivalent to when they introduced Sinbad and Maggie by having all his metal vessels stolen. Low-key, it's kind of a smart way to nerf an already OP character. We end up cutting over to the Holy Knight's headquarters, where we get to meet Grandmaster Hendrickson and Grandmaster Dreyfus. They are yapping about some sort of holy war against the 7 deadly sins and want to eliminate them because the last time Meliodas went on a rampage, he wiped an entire country off the map like Emu. We cut back over to the Sins, who are focused on finding their sacred treasures. They end up finding Diane's hammer Gideon, but it's the winning prize for a tournament. Of course, Meliodas and Bond are down to squabble, but no weapons are allowed, only the fisticuffs. They drag King along with them, so let the squabble commence. The first round is basically a giant battle royale where they need to push their opponent out of the circle. Meliodas, Bond, and a couple of others are buddying the competition until there's just 8 people left. They go into the next round of the tournament when Meliodas and Bond are forced to fight each other. We also see the Holy Knight Hauser, who's kinda like Gilthunder's right hand man. Guillermo is first up against this unknown lady, and not gonna lie, I thought this was gonna be a recreation of Videl against Popovich. Bro was putting the most brutal belt on her for no reason. She takes off the cloak as it's revealed she's wearing the tavern's uniform. I thought for a second Elizabeth turned into prime Mike Tyson. The match begins and she flash steps in with a Dempsey roll, but roided out Tarzan tanks all the blows. He begins expanding his simple domain, but the mystery fighter locks in, breaking it, and hits him with a Brawlhalla stage out. When it's revealed that it was Diane all along. Turns out while her and Elizabeth were hunting for food, they ran into a mushroom that shrunk both of them. 7 deadly sins will really do anything for some more fan service, bruh. Hauser beats Joe Rogan with 1 punch, and King has to fight the old man, and not gonna lie, after his Hall of Fame performance from last episode, I thought he was gonna cook, but Lil Bro has absolutely zero taijutsu skills. I'm pretty sure I could beat him in a squabble. This is like watching Sakura versus Ino in the tuning exams. King ends up losing, so it's Bond versus Meliodas in the next round. Meli wastes no time and goes for an instant transmission punch. Bond grabs Meliodas and hits him with a Jotaro special as Meliodas hits him with the nastiest down air. They continue to go blow for blow, and it's genuinely a high-def fight. It low-key reminds me of seeing Goku versus Piccolo in OG Dragon Ball. Meliodas grabs Bond and starts flinging him around the same way Hawk did to Loki, but that's when Bond activates his ability Snatch. It allows him to steal even physical attributes like strength and speed from his opponent, and not gonna lie, that's kind of OP. If there's no limit on that ability, he could genuinely become the strongest person in the verse. Meliodas is still overpowering Bond, putting him in all types of combos, but Bond officially managed to take all of his strength, leaving Meliodas on critical. Or so I thought, because Bond goes to deliver the final blow, but Meliodas grabs his arm and turns him into Swiss cheese, blowing him out the arena. This man Meliodas developed a whole Orochimaru curse mark just to violate his own day one. Diane and Hauser are next up, and Bro's using his tornado punch to try and end the fight quickly. Diane is able to evade them and even managed to stop his uppercut. This guy's wind abilities kinda remind me of Jin from Yu Yu Hakusho. He summons an entire tornado, sending Diane flying into the air, but she turns into Metal Mario and hits Bro with the Teen Titans Robin special, making her the winner of the fight. Meliodas is up against Grams, and I thought Grams was just gonna forfeit, but he says that he knows Meliodas before going in with a Sanji combo. He uses Fireball Jutsu and begins blasting Meliodas while asking him why he destroyed the entire kingdom and killed all his people. Meliodas says he remembers who he is and that he hasn't betrayed the kingdom. When King Bazard says that he believes him and he will forfeit the match. I guess this makes King's defeat just slightly less embarrassing. It's Meliodas versus Diane, and they are low-key banging out. Meliodas must believe in equal rights, equal fights, because he had no reason to dome Diane like this. Midway through the squabble though, they stop fighting as they all sense something approaching. So Meliodas tries to put up an act to clear out the villagers, but it's too late as a bunch of fireballs get sent towards them. It's none other than Mandy and Jericho, the girl that Bond violated on his way out of escaping the prison. They are all significantly stronger because they went through some type of ritual where they drank a demon's blood. This is really the type of nonsense the elites be on. They low-key bodied Bond and Meliodas. Are they really that much weaker without like their sacred treasures? Like damn, the only person putting up numbers right now is King. This must be how LeBron feels carrying the Lakers with Luka and Austin Reeves injured. Elizabeth's sister Veronica has been looking for her just to catch her butt booty booty naked next to the 7 deadly sins. She tries to tell her to come back to the kingdom with her, but Meliodas says that he won't let that happen. Grandmaster Hendrickson gave her some type of weapon to seal away Meliodas on some Gojo timing. Bond takes Veronica hostage, as King is confused as to why he's unable to sense the sin's energy. He goes to make quick work of the 2 holy knights when his spear gets cut in half by Halbram. He begins buddying King and actually has him on the back foot, even stopping his psychic attacks. We cut back over to Bond, who gets snuck by Jericho. They go to capture Elizabeth, who runs away as his sister follows after her. They end up stepping on a whole landmine planted by Mandy, which leaves Veronica uncritical. Elizabeth is distraught and screams out for Meliodas one last time as he re-emerges from the seal with the curse mark having taken over even more of his body. Why didn't Gojo just do this? Like, come on bro, he could have been out of the prison realm ages ago. He wastes no time and takes his blade back, snatching Mandy's entire arm in the process. Yeah, this man is a demon. This is probably how people felt in Shibuya when Sukuna took over Yuji's body, out here holding Shorty's hand like a Wii controller. He goes for a downer, creating a whole Gatsuga tension, knocking her smooth out. Jericho uses an Orihime healing bubble to heal her back up. Bond tries to stop Meliodas, but he's on a murder spree as he's leaving him looking like Satoru Gojo. He flies up to Halbram and without saying a word, hits him with a nasty combo. Helm actually manages to land a hit back, so Meliodas activates his demon wing and continues to keep up the pressure. Halbram is keeping up and even starts taking notes mid-squabble. This is low-key disrespectful, moving like Killer Bee. They are going band for band when Halbram draws first blood. Meliodas is continuously getting stronger as his demon transformation is slowly taking over his body. All the while Halbram is gaining borrowed strength from his people back in the castle. He sends Meliodas flying, knocking him out. Ban and the others hit the jets, fleeing to safety when Diane, who's returned to a giant form, pulls up wielding her sacred treasure Gideon. Diane starts tweaking after seeing the captain injured, so with her new gained strength from her sacred treasure, begins putting the beats on Halbram to the point that even Grandmaster Hendrix is telling bro to retreat. She digs up an entire mountain like Gara and drops it onto Halbram, ending the fight. He barely managed to get away, but stole Meliodas' sword in the process, which is apparently one of the keys required to revive the demon race. Meliodas is also back to his usual self, and they just go on with their days as if a princess didn't just die and Meliodas didn't have a whole Austin level transformation. After realizing the Holy Knights are actually kind of strong, Meliodas agrees to stop holding back. Finally, we end up seeing the other side of the Holy Knights, and we get to see Healer interact with her little brother. Their dad used to be a Holy Knight, but apparently ran away from the battlefield, which has caused great shame to their family name. I guess they aren't all bad, and it shows that, you know, there's always two sides to a story.
I go sang with that jiggle my fuck on a you-nang. Fuck on my jiggle.
With that being said though, she is still an absolute psychopath. Meliodas and the gang make it to a new town, so they send Elizabeth and Hawk to do some shopping whilst the rest go out hunting. Whilst they catch some game, they hear screams in the forest as the injured tell them an armored beast took them out. Meliodas realizes his go for the goat's in as they make it just in time as an assassin Holy Knight squad was just about to jump him. The green-haired guy that's been traveling with him also pulls up, but it's not looking good. They are hitting bro with all types of moves. This is really how it feels when everyone realizes you have 3 stocks left in Smash Bros. Hawkeye charges up the final attack when the green-haired guy turns into a pink-haired femboy and has one of the coldest pull-ups in the entire show, catching the arrow. This whole time I thought the giant demon armor was Gopher, but nah, this petite Haku affiliate was Gopher all along. The assassins say that they don't care about the other sins and they just need the giant's head, and not gonna lie, this was such an unsettling and weird scene because instead of defending the monster he's been traveling with for presumably many years, he decapitates it and hands the head over to the Holy Knight to evade conflict. That's when he explains that this thing used to once be a human Holy Knight and was turned into a monster. He uses armor to seal away its strength as it was extremely powerful. It wakes up and the sins begin to take it down. Meliodas grabs a random weapon and hits it with a Gatsuga Tencho, but right as he's about to finish it off, he hears it speak, which causes him to hold back. Gopher shoots it with an arrow, putting him in a temporary genjutsu. Bon wants to finish him off, but Meliodas tells him to stop, but Bon doesn't care and still snatches his heart. That's when we see Gopher's illusion, as it turns out that the monster was actually Healer's father, and he didn't run away, but he got turned into a monster by the Holy Knights. The Holy Knights are out here moving like state alchemists in Full Metal, and the absolute cherry on top is that he was actually friends with the 7 deadly sins. Whilst that was going on, Elizabeth gets pulled up on by the old man who tells her about Meliodas' ex-girlfriend, who was also called Elizabeth. She low-key even looks like Elizabeth. He must have a type. hype. He says that she wanted to give him a sword but never got the chance, so he gave it to Elizabeth instead. Even though his heart got snatched, it still didn't kill him because now that he's a demon, he has 4 hearts. He goes into a rampage mode, but Meliodas tries to scream out his name and even stops Barn and King from attacking him. That's when Elizabeth comes through with the sword and tosses it to him, telling him that it's okay to fight. He finally locks in and speed blitzes the monster, one-tapping him. Even though Meliodas showed great compassion, it doesn't seem like they cared very much after the threat was eliminated. Although Gopher does seem to resemble slight emotions of remorse, regret, and or sadness, it doesn't really seem like he himself understands said emotions. His character intrigues me a lot. The gang's really starting to come together. We officially got 5 out of the 7 deadly sins. Gopher adds an interesting dynamic, you know, like his blunt nature and ability to read minds makes for some funny interactions. He even calls out the fact that Elizabeth is in love with Meliodas. We cut over to the Holy Knights when Jericho reveals to Healer that her father was turned into a demon by the Holy Knights. At the same time, we see Grandmaster Hendrickson and this green-haired bum using Meliodas' sword to open up the gate to the demon world. They are missing a fragment of the seal, and Grandmaster Dreyfus finally confronts Hendrickson about his plans as he comes clean about wanting to start a holy war with the demons. That's also when we find out it was them who killed Saratras, Gilthunder's father, and pinned everything on the 7 deadly sins? What? And hey bro, there was no need for this like at all. They just dropped some insane piece of lore and proceed to show this in the very next scene. Anyways, whilst Meliodas is planning on retrieving his sword, the Holy Knight uses /TP and takes Elizabeth before vanishing again. Meliodas instantly tweaks out, and this is the most emotion I've seen him display in the entire show. He instantly runs out and gets Diane to transport them there. She tosses them straight into the enemy backline and they waste no time putting Bell to ass. They are rushing towards the castle when they sense another energy as Arthur, the King of Camelot, has pulled up with his army from the other side. Like what? Turns out the army was an illusion and he's actually here to cure the king's illness as he apparently owes him a big favor. Hendrickson tells him to go away and he doesn't need his help, but he refuses to leave. He lets them in before ambushing them, but Arthur ain't going out soft and actually tanks the attack, drawing first blood. We cut over to Meliodas, Barn and Gopher as Gopher pulls out his sacred treasure to take out almost all of the foot soldiers. His abilities are actually scary. He basically has Itachi level genjutsu that leaves permanent damage. King summons his dark creature that allows him to teleport anywhere, so he sends Diane to the capital, and these cliches are starting to get out of hand. Because why does she get stuck in the dog's mouth?
Leave me alone!
Some of the other Holy Knights heard her teleporting in and instantly went to attack her, popping 3 ults just to take her out. They draw first blood, but freed her in the process, allowing her to land another earthbending attack. She tries to attack Dreyfus, but he uses his sword break to pierce her through the chest. She continues to get up and fight, but the skill gap is just too big as she gets flung out of bounds. Dreyfus tells the townfolk that they are being attacked by the 7 deadly sins, which has Healer questioning his morals. They run into town and she sees her little brother about to get crushed by a whole building, but Diane steps in at the last second, saving him. That must have been the final straw for Hauser and Healer to turn their back on the Holy Knights and stand by Diane's side. W character development. Hauser pops his ult and flings him into the air when Healer goes for the combo, adding her explosions to them. Jericho is the only one taken out by that, as Gilthunner and Dreyfus both walked out unfazed, and I guess the green-head bum is still standing too. Dreyfus goes out to erase Healer from existence when Gopher steps in on the last minute, saving her. Gopher comes in and gets turned into Fire Fist Ace, but still revenge counters 2-piecing Dreyfus with 0 difficulty. He puts him in a genjutsu that makes him think about the sins he committed against his brother. My Itachi comparison from earlier is honestly not even that crazy. Dreyfus eventually breaks free, leaving Gopher slumped, but he's also on critical damage, forcing Gilthunner to take him to retreat. Halbram stays behind to 1v2 Hauser and Healer, and Bro gets straight to using poison warfare. He could not care less about the lives of the villagers. Diane locks in one last time, taking him out, but Halgrim impales her as he goes for the finishing blow, and just as I thought it was wraps, King pulls up to defend his shorty. King goes into rage mode and begins to dribble Halgrim across the arena. That's when it's revealed that his true form is actually a fairy. Bro, what is even happening right now? He seems to be even stronger in his fairy form and starts putting the beats on King. That's when we see a part of his backstory. King left his sister Elaine in charge of the forest to go and protect his people, but he got snuck by Halgrim in the process. When he woke up, he lost his memories, but he was being taken care of by a young Diane. The 7 deadly predators agenda is looking a bit shaky right now. It's looking very shaky. They continue to get closer and closer when we see another flashback of him talking to Halgrim about the distrust for humans, and he's honestly got valid concerns. It's also also made clear that they were actually best friends. He ended up getting his memories back and realized that he needed to go help his people, but what he didn't realize is that multiple decades had gone by whilst he was spending time with Diane. The villages nearby was being attacked, so when King went to investigate, he ran into the same person who snuck him. That's when it's revealed that Helmgrim snuck him and took on his form so that he would never forget his hatred for humans. Long story short, they basically changed roles. Helmgrim wanted to trust humans, and when King warned him not to, he ended up finding out the hard way as the humans ended up hunting the fairies for their wings. This is probably how elephants feel seeing their homies get poached for their trunks. 500 years had gone by and Helmgrim has been massacring humans all this time in the name of revenge. He killed his friend, putting him out of his misery, and took accountability by serving a 1,000 year sentence with the humans. Damn. I can see both sides of the story, two sides of the same coin honestly. We return to the squabble and both King and Helmgrim draw out 100% of their magical power. King finally seems to have made peace with his mistakes, allowing him to land the finishing blow on Helmgrim, taking him out. Sensational. They really had their Obito and Kakashi moment right here. Elizabeth and Hawk are being held down in the basement of the castle, and Elizabeth actually runs into her big sister who's also being held prisoner. We cut over to Arthur who's running the ones with Hendrickson, but he seems to be struggling. Hendrickson goes to unleash some Ryuga type move when Meliodas steps in with his usual full counter, as it seems like Meliodas knows King Arthur. He confronts Hendrickson about Elizabeth before wasting no time and going in for the flurry rush. The teleporting lady sends in Gilthunder like he's for an Infinity War to back him up, and I'm not gonna lie, this pull-up was tough. They instantly begin clashing, making it a 2v2. Gilthunder goes to use Sasuke's Kirin, which Meliodas easily counters, but he used it as a diversion to knock away his weapon. I thought he drew first blood, but Meliodas activated his Orochimaru curse mark, stopping the blow. King Arthur is low-key getting bodied because Hendrickson hit bro with an actual Amaterasu Black Flame. Luckily, Arthur's supporters joined the battle, putting it out. We end up seeing a backstory of Meliodas and Gilthunder, and Meliodas was basically his teacher and role model. He even taught bro how to wield his sword. Gilthunder tells Meliodas that he's more powerful than the 7 deadly sins and will take them out for betraying the kingdom. Meliodas is aura farming like Piccolo before dropping down from the top rope. I thought he was gonna cook, but Hendrickson ended up third partying the squabble as he off-screened King Arthur. I thought bro was gonna be a lot tougher with a name like King Arthur, bro. Like, come on, man. The teleporting witch also joins the squabble, making it a 3v1. Yo, where are the other sins? They're giving Meliodas the Sukuna treatment. Everyone gets ready to pop old like it's overtime in Marvel Rivals, but that's when Elizabeth's sister and Gilthunder's situationship step out onto the battlefield, throwing herself off the building like Mary Jane. What was she thinking?
Will you marry me? Mary Jane! Why did you do that?
To prove to myself that you'll always be there for me when it really counts.
Meliodas decides to ignore them and goes to save the girl instead. W mans. Hendrickson takes this opportunity to land a finishing blow, and I truly thought it was over, but that's when we see the rest of Meliodas's and Gilthunder's backstory, as it's revealed that Meliodas told Gilthunder to say the exact words, "I'm now more powerful than the 7 deadly sins," if he was ever in need of help. As it cuts over to Gilthunder stepping in against Hendrickson and slashing his arm, leaving him looking like Shanks. What? So you mean to tell me the past 20 odd episodes were all planned? Gilthunder thanks Meliodas before bouncing Hendrickson around like Zenitsu. Damn. He fries him to the maximum when the teleporting lady tries to clean up the squabble just for Arthur's support to step in and lil bro her. Just for it to be revealed that she's the boss in Merlin? And hey, she had no reason to be this bad. Whilst that was going on, Bard made it to the trumpet of the goddesses and asked them to revive Elaine. They said that they'll do it, but Bard needs to kill someone for them in exchange. His own best friend Meliodas. We cut back to the remaining sins and Merlin helps them reunite with Elizabeth by taking down her disciple's spell. And squeezing your girl's titty in front of her father is diabolical work, especially when you used to work for her father like a decade ago. Yo, this is all types of wrong. Dreyfus pulls up to the room and realizes the cat's out the bag. Long story short, it's over. He drops to his knees and asks for forgiveness and explains that Hendrickson plotted to start a holy war with the demon race. The true king sends Dreyfus to the dungeon and joins Merlin so that he can be treated for his illness in the Camelot kingdom. Well then, it seems like everything worked out in the end. Well then, it seems like I spoke too soon. Hendrickson is reborn as a demon and proceeds to pull a Zeke Jaeger. All that demon blood they drank is the equivalent to sipping on that Titan serum spinal fluid, because he awakens all the new generation holy knights like sleeper agents, turning them all into demons. Tell me this isn't the exact same concept. Hendrickson explains that he was so compatible with the demon blood it basically turned him into a Meliodas variant, giving him a similar Orochimaru curse mark. And on top of everything, Helgrim has also been revived for like the 10th time time. The real Helgrim actually died when King killed him the first time, but Hendrickson used some sort of necromancer ability to allow him to rebirth the dead. This is how Jinwoo did Igris. Hendrickson takes out Meliodas and Gilthunder by taking their sweet ones hostage, so Elizabeth agrees to sacrifice herself so that she can save Meliodas. Hendrickson flies away when Bond comes in before snatching Meliodas' arm, and I actually thought he was going through with killing his day one, just to bring back some overrated fairy Ussie. Like, come on bro, the fairy Ussie cannot be that good. What will you call your homie? What will you call your homie? Meliodas just takes back his arm and reattaches it when Bond finally asks the big question and confronts him on whether he's part of the demon race, and it's a pretty valid question. No human should be able to just reattach their limbs like that. Who you feeling like, Hisoka? He begins beating the brakes of Meliodas when Meliodas just powers down and gives Bond the green light to murk him. He still fights back though when Hawk tries to talk no jutsu Bond and asks him why he would listen to a goddess that could easily be lying to him. Bond explains why he needs to bring back Elaine to life, so Meliodas says that they can settle their dispute after saving Elizabeth. Bond agrees and heals up Gilthunder and Diane and snaps King right back into place. King locks in and takes out Helgrim one last time, finally putting an end to his suffering. Bond shifts his focus to Jericho, and I truly thought bro was just gonna boom her, but he ended up targeting the demon parasite and saving her life. How sweet. Hey, say what you will about, Bond and his character, but right now he's acting like a true right-hand man. Dreyfus pulled up on Hendrickson and vows to take him down to atone for his sin, and I thought he was just gonna get buddied, but he might actually be one of them ones, because he booms Hendrickson, leaving him looking like Toji whilst walking off all his attacks. He uses the demon's power to heal his wounds before shattering his sword, and long story short, it's over, as Hendrickson uses the K, turning Dreyfus into chum bucket eats. Meliodas makes it to the battle and he's out there acting like Luffy during Roof Piece. Walked right past Hendrickson to carry Elizabeth to safety. They get to squabbling during enough time for the other sins to pull up. Let's get to jumping. They start putting the beats on bro, using all their cooldowns on him, but he just keeps regenerating all their damage. They continue to cut him down when Meliodas explains that even though he can regenerate, he still sustains some of the damage. That's when Bond stumbles on the demon corpse that's been giving them all their power. Hendrickson starts laughing, saying he has harnessed the power of the red demon, when Bond just rushes in and Hakai's bro, as he lets him know that he was the one who killed the red demon in the first place. It's all come full circle. The writing is actually kind of intriguing, like it's not just random stories, it's all connected. Hendrickson escapes into a tunnel, so they follow him when they see bro standing next to a grey demon corpse. He explains that the grey demon is far superior to the red demon, so he injects himself with the grey demon serum, Jin equipping into a full demon. His strength has rose so much to the point that he's able to push back 5 of the 7 deadly sins on his own without even breaking a sweat. I'm not gonna lie, this is how it first felt when Madara pulled up on the Shinobi Alliance. Had even Naruto running away. The Holy Knights have completely changed sides and are now fighting with the 7 deadly sins against the Grand Master. But even with the combined attacks of all of them, they are unable to even dent bro a tiny bit. They pop like 10 different combination ults and he's just standing there unfazed. Was Thanos this dominant when he pulled up in Wakanda? I don't know. The only one left standing is Meliodas. Never mind. Not a single soul is left standing. Grandmaster Hendrickson, I was not familiar with your game. He begins charging a tailed beast bomb and I thought Meliodas was just gonna full counter it or something, but Hawk decides to step in when it matters most and puts his life on the line tanking the nuke. Listen to me when I say this. Hawk is more useful than Usopp. I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back. I got Hawk over Usopp. Do you know how tough you gotta be to have Bond crying over your death? Meliodas says he'll regret what he did when a Minecraft beacon begins emanating from Hawk's body. I thought bro was gonna turn out to be some sort of godlike being like Pachita, but nah, it's none other than Elizabeth, who has her Orihime Mimosa Sakura awakening. They even gave her a dojutsu. Turns out she has goddess blood flowing through her veins, which allows her to output insane magical energy and heal the people around her. Hendrickson starts charging an almighty push, but Elizabeth locks in and counters him with nothing but pure aura. Hendrickson, or I should probably say the demon that's taken over his body, realizes who Elizabeth is and goes for the kill, but Meliodas is also fully healed, so goes to stop him. He kicks him using his knockback free shoes before lining up the nastiest frag level overhand I have ever seen. Nothing but bad intentions in this punch. Hit bro so hard he just dropped to the floor unable to breathe. I know he was winded as hell. He gets up, but the 7 deadly sins put bro in a Dragon Ball Legends legendary finish. His regen still allows him to fight fight back, so Meliodas tells Gopher to broadcast a plan to everyone. Meliodas begins to attack when all the Holy Knights start attacking both Meliodas and Hendrickson at the same time. It seems like he's sacrificing himself so he can hold down the demon whilst the rest of the fighters land chip damage. That's when Gopher explains that when Meliodas disables his magical power, he can absorb all magical damage he's taking and turn it into one giant revenge counter. Hendrickson tries to hit the jets, but Griamore spins back, holding him in place as Meliodas lands the final attack.
This Dragon Ball Z ass move he's about to use, bro. Light that burns the sky. Ribambi, please survive, please! If this Ribambi actually survives this shit, gold status, gold status. What is going on right now, man? Ribambi! Please don't kill it, bro. Oh my god! Is that a spirit bomb? It might be good though. Ribambi!
They are all mourning Hawk, and I was about to shed a tear when bro rebirths into a baby version of himself, out here moving like Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. This is just sensational. Hawk is alive, Veronica is alive, the king got healed by Merlin, the kingdom doesn't think the 7 deadly sins are traitors anymore, King and Diane's relationship is getting better, Gopher got himself some buns, and you know, all in all, it's a pretty happy ending. But you know, this is a story about the 7 deadly sins. Why have we only seen 6 of them?
Who decided that?
Hey, appreciate you for sticking till the end. You should subscribe and join the family. I'm trying to build a real community out here. YouTube thinks you'll like the video on screen next to where. Check it out. Peace. Consistent Senshiig.